Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be looking at stupid shit that Phil basically claimed on the podcast this morning. Basically going over the issues that arose when he was doing the Patreon React videos last night where the file corrupted. Now, the corruption has nothing to do with OBS, it has nothing to do with Windows, it has everything to do with Phil himself. Now, Phil blamed OBS and he blamed YouTube for the corruption. Basically, what actually occurred is that um, more than likely Phil's hard drive that he does the recording to, which is the 3 terabyte 7200 RPM Seagate drive that he has with his CyberPower PC, more than likely is either heavily fragmented or has bad sectors on it. The issue that Phil had happen is when he went to upload certain points of the videos, because Phil's an idiot and starts and stops recording constantly to game the system, uh, the driver or the video file corrupted. Now, more than likely, the video file probably corrupted prior to when Phil was actually doing the recording. YouTube doesn't cut and paste when it is uploading, when you're uploading videos. So YouTube doing the upload, and if the upload should fail, will not corrupt your video. Okay, that is not how it works. If YouTube was doing a cut and paste, then yes, it would, but it doesn't. Now, the other issue that Phil had stated is because OBS had done an update last year and now causes video corruption. Phil was also going around stating that he, the capture card that he had prior was causing a lot of video corruption. That's not how that works. And unfortunately, OBS actually has things like fragmented MOV, MKV, or which you should be using, fragmented MP4, that will allow you to do basically, if there's something should happen during your stream or during your recording process, the video will not corrupt. Okay, you can continue off right from where you left off. That's why you should always have the stats open. Let's bring that up here really quick. Just show you what I'm talking about. Now, underneath view within your OBS, when you're streaming or recording, you should just choose to have stats open. Stats is going to tell you if you are running into issues when it comes to frames missed during rendering. I've missed 41 frames. That's okay. Skip frames due to encoding lag. I'm not getting anything right there. I'm not streaming right now. I'm just recording with this device. But we'll actually get into all this here really quick. Now, the issue that Phil ran into is definitely an issue with his PC. Because the recording process is actually corrupting prior to Phil actually uploading the video. So this is most likely his 3 terabyte hard drive. Like I said, it's either heavily fragmented or it is slowly dying, probably due to bad sectors. Phil can run a scan, but that would actually require work on Phil's part, and he's not going to do that. Let's be real about it. But let's just let Phil cook here for a bit, and we'll start debunking it.
Until eventually one day I have enough money to buy a replacement PC, right? A full replacement PC for my PC, which I can't do. I don't have the money for it. And get one that's fully up to snuff, brand new Windows, all new components, and then having to figure out how to transfer everything over. Because remember, everything I'm using is Windows 8 shit. Like my whole OBS setup and everything, I'd have to figure out how do you transfer all that over for an easy transition, which probably wouldn't be an easy transition. There's going to be some growing pains and learning how to do it and everything, you know. So, yeah, I'm just kind of stuck. It's funny because people are like, oh, just update Windows. We've talked about this a million times. This is, a lot of people come in here who aren't around all the time. Can't update Windows. My PC is 10 years old. If I update Windows, half the components in that PC will not work with modern Windows.
Okay, so that's another lie. So we could actually debunk this here really quick. So yes, Phil can install Windows 10 on his PC. It will work perfectly fine. Down in the description of this video, you guys will find a link to the PhilGen PC. That is a PC that is the exact same generation as Phil's, just a lot worse, that I had built here about a year and a half ago. That PC consists of an Intel 4130K Core i3 processor, 2 cores, 4 threads, 16 gigabyte of DDR3 1866 memory with the 650 Ti graphics card. That was able to do 1080p 60 no problem with while playing Fightcade, Street Fighter on Fightcade, and having a webcam running at full 1080p 60, unlike Phil, who turns his webcam down to 144p while playing games because he thinks it's going to cause issues with his stream and possibly crash his stream, because we all know a webcam uses 100% CPU usage. Now, Phil, on the other hand, has a Core i7 4930K, which is 6 cores, 12 threads, Extreme Edition processor with quad channel 16 gigabyte memory, DDR3 1600 megahertz. He's got a 780 Ti, and he also has a ADATA 256 gigabyte Windows drive with a 3 terabyte backup from Seagate, 7200 RPM. Now, that platform, you can bring it up here, is the Asus Sabertooth platform. Okay, now clicking on drivers and tools automatically brings up Windows 10 64-bit. So the platform, everything in Phil's system works with Windows 10. Okay, now within the system, Phil has Intel LAN. Of course, it supports Windows 10. MEI, which is his security feature, supports Windows 10. Realtek Audio supports Windows 10. Media supports Windows 10. SATA supports Windows 10. Everything in Phil's system supports Windows 10. Okay, so Phil is lying. Now, realistically, I would recommend a BIOS update just to make sure that things like fast boot and everything are compatible with Windows 10. Depending on the UEFI version of Phil's BIOS, it may be prudent to update. It's not necessary. He can get away with it. There is no Spectre or Meltdown mitigation within for a BIOS update for this motherboard. Asus gave up on it, so that won't happen. Phil will have to rely on mitigations within Windows 10 itself. So Phil's system supports Windows 10. Okay, Phil's just lazy and doesn't want to do it, and there's actually a very easy way for Phil to do this. So what we can do is we can just go to Windows 10 Media Creation Tool, right? First, click on the list there, brings up the website. All Phil has to do is download this, and it'll do all the updates for him. Installs Windows 10, and he's good to go. Yes, there can be some software headaches depending on how old the software Phil has installed. Remember, Phil does not do any updates. He disables Windows updates, and as we've learned last week, due to Phil's lying and everything, Phil does not have a firewall, Phil does not have a virus scan, and Phil does not have a VPN. So he's very... The Brunel Productions is very unsecure, okay? Like, even with the lies from last week, if they were real, and I know people have already tried to DDoS them and it didn't work, which again is the final nail in the coffin for all that bullshit. Yes, Phil doesn't put money back into his business. He never has. All Phil wants to do is to be able to wake up at 10:15 in the morning, walk into the office, hit start streaming, start recording. If something goes wrong, it's the end of the world. The sky is falling. He begs his chat for help. They're going to have to show up and help him. Okay? So don't let Phil con you here. Phil's system perfectly supports Windows 10. He is just too lazy to install it. Now, I will be getting Prophet OS done. I promise you. It's just that issues like this where Phil opens his big fat fucking mouth and then starts bullshitting people about tech, then I have to go back and add to the video or refilm something. So it's taken a lot of time, but it's going to be a pretty cool video. It's going to show how easy it is to install Windows 10 or 11 and then tweak the operating system. Not that it's going to benefit you in your games, but it's just peace of mind knowing that you have a properly set up system.
Just old. It's an old PC. The only way for me to fix this issue is to get a new PC with all new components, new Windows and everything all in one fell swoop. Just to give you an example here. Last summer, I cleaned out my closet, okay? And then I found a device, a capture device. That's supposed to be like an analog capture device. You could plug in the old yellow, red, white cables from like an old console and capture directly in. So this is an old device. And I plugged it in. And literally just plugging in that one device crashed my Windows entirely. Nothing would work. I had to do a Windows restore just to get my PC to work normally again. It was a near disaster. And I was like, dude.
Okay, so what Phil is describing here is the Blackmagic intensity shuttle that you had found inside his closet cleanup. Now, I did a video on this. Phil fucked up when he installed it. Actually, during this video itself, Phil was going to order Dairy Queen. If you guys remember that, Phil did not have his iPhone 6 up to date. It would not display the web page, nor would it allow him to install the app unless he updated his phone. So Phil had to do that live on stream, right? And this is what I talk about, not having your software up to date. Phil did not have the right security credentials built into his, what is it on the iPhone? Is it Safari? So he couldn't view the website because it didn't have the proper security credentials, and it wouldn't allow him to install the latest app because, again, his iOS wasn't up to date. So when Phil tried to install this Intensity Shuttle, this is the driver that Phil should have installed, which is the 12.3 driver for Microsoft Windows 8. Instead, Phil ended up installing, what was it? 12.4, 12, yeah, I think it was 12.4. Yeah, it was 12.4, and when Phil did that, it completely crashed his system because, again, 12.4 does not support Windows 8.1. So Phil really screwed up there, installed the wrong software, and ended up crashing his own PC because he wasn't reading properly. He would have installed the 12.3, it would have been working just fine. So again, that's Phil's problem. Phil caused that. It's not an issue with Windows itself. It was a Phil fuck up.
Do you really think I'm going to fuck with anything else when at a moment's notice this thing has issues like that? Forget it, right? So, not much I can do about that. And before people idiotically say stuff like, what happened to the MiniPC? The MiniPC, you think a MiniPC is set up to capture and stream? You really believe that? You don't think that thing would possibly overheat this tiny little PC that's this size? You think that's a good capture and streaming device? You are wrong. That is a dumb suggestion. That would never...
Okay, so this is why we're making this video. Give me 1 second. We're going to do a display capture again. All right, folks, I would like to introduce you to the TrigKey S5 MiniPC. This is an AMD Ryzen 7 5800H 8-core 16-thread processor using 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 megahertz. It has Intel integrated Vega graphics. Isn't that great? But hey, it works. 1 terabyte Crucial P4 hard drive, NVMe. Now, this is the downside to the unit. Even though it is a 5800H and is part of the Ryzen 3 family, TrigKey does not support PCIe Gen 4, which sucks, even though the Crucial P4 that ships in the system is PCIe Gen 4. And the downside is you do lose quite a bit of read and write performance. Now, also, the P4 Crucial hard drive isn't the greatest. It suffers from a lot of latency, which is why I've replaced mine with a 990 Pro. Yes, I did buy Phil's exact same MiniPC just so I can do videos like this. And yes, I am recording and I am streaming from the TrigKey 5800H without issue. As you can see, I am capturing from the device. Bring everything up here before I die. Hold on. Hold on. You have to watch me. I'm rep farming and I'm doing some quests here because I need to. So the 5800H is actually a very decent PC once you get rid of the original software installed on it. Now, I did have a lot of issues with the 5800H. Well, not really issues. Windows wasn't activated, and it forced me to have to buy another copy of Windows 11 Pro. That's fine. If you use something like cdkeys.com or UR CDKey or VIP CDKey, Windows is very inexpensive. I got it on sale using a code from Guru 3D, and I was able to get Windows 11 Pro for $21 Canadian. So perfect, right? So what? I had to spend an extra 21 bucks on Windows. I'm fine with that. That might not be. That's like one pull, right? 1651. Also with the unit, the drivers for the wireless now, they state that this comes with a MediaTek Wi-Fi and Bluetooth adapter. Mine doesn't. Mine actually comes with an Intel A201, I believe it is. Bring it up here. Here's the device manager. Underneath, yeah, it's an AX200, so it's only a Wi-Fi 6 adapter. I wanted to replace it with a Wi-Fi 7 adapter, but they actually solder the antenna clips onto the Wi-Fi card. Even though the Wi-Fi card is removable, they've soldered the antennas to it, which I'd have to break. Now, I can probably do that and get the antennas myself and still replace it. I may as well do it as soon as I can anyways, because the Wi-Fi 7 adapter isn't that expensive. It's like 39 bucks. Also, I've also replaced the memory in this unit with some redline memory. Now, the redline memory allows me to go from CL22 down to CL16, so it is a little bit faster. And yes, I have got Street Fighter 6 up and running on this at 1080p 60, but it pretty much looks like the Xbox Series S and the PS4 Pro version. So this unit is perfectly capable of doing streaming and recording, probably better than Phil's CyberPower PC, because this is a lot newer generation when it comes to IPC performance for Phil's streams. So it would be a lot better. Now, the other benefit for this unit is the fact that it has a very low power envelope. This thing only runs at around 85 watts max. So while you're recording and streaming, you're only going to be using up to 85 watts. Phil's PC, his whole entire setup, probably uses upwards of probably around 600 watts. So a lot less heat output, a lot less power usage, a lot quieter than his setup. Remember, Phil banned Lavinia for telling him it has a fan. This device actually has two fans in it. Yeah, you heard that right. There's actually a fan intake on the bottom, and then there's a fan intake on the top, which is kind of like a blower style cooler. So yes, you can record and you can stream from the TrigKey S5 5800H. As you can see, I am doing that right now. I am using I have everything set up here on my desk. Actually, let me turn on my webcam. I will show you guys what I am talking. We'll add another scene here. We'll add another video capture device. Logitech Brio. Hey, everybody. Okay, so we're just going to do this nice and dirty. So there's the webcam. Here is the TrigKey S5 5800H. I am using, of course, my capture device, which is the EVGA XR1 Pro. Go back to display capture. We can bring this up right here. So you can see it here, the EVGA XR1 Pro capture video device, working perfectly fine. And it is capturing World of Warcraft. So again, right, I've got Phil playing there. I've got my webcam on. Everything's working. CPU usage is at 0.1% for encoding. And I am using the integrated GPU for the hardware decoding and hardware encoding. It's not the greatest GPU out there. It is a Vega. Now, there are better versions of these mini PCs out there, just not from TrigKey or B-Link. This has been superseded by the 6800H and U, as well as the now 7800H and U. They're much more powerful. The 7800H and U will actually do AV1 encoding for you. So a lot less bitrate usage. At the same time, it's going to give you a much better gaming performance. The mini PCs are very good. Again, Phil has his desktop, CyberPower, which even though it is old, will do 1080p 60 if Phil were to actually take care of it. Phil also has this Acer notebook, which is another AMD variant with a 3200U, I think, inside of it. And that will do streaming for Phil as well. Then that has Windows 10 built in. Now it is Windows 10S, so Phil will have to disable the Windows 10S mode. That basically just means he can only install apps from the Windows Store. Outside of that, he can't unless he disables Windows S. And Phil also has the mini PC, which is a lot more powerful than both his laptop and his desktop, and it's already got Windows 11 Pro in it. So Phil could do that. I am doing it currently. Phil, you've been debunked, so get fucked, loser. All right, guys, it's already late here. It is 9:30 p.m. my time. I got to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to cut this one short. I hope you enjoyed the video. Phil, you're a fucking idiot. Again, the dents, if you guys watch this video, make sure you tell Phil he's lying and do not give him money. All right, guys, we'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Thanks for watching.